welcome back to this week's episode of Outside the Arena. Mac Rommel back in the building. Good to have you once again, my friend.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm Griffin Senek. And this week, it's going to be a quick episode. I'm not going to lie. We're going to be hitting a lot of stuff in a short period of time. It is currently almost midnight right now when we're filming this. So, JP is about to step in the ring in a brief amount of time. But until JP gets in there, hopefully he gets knocked out. You guys will know the result, obviously, before we do or before this comes out. But hopefully he gets knocked out. But first, we're going to talk some NFL. And we're going to start with Jadeveon Clowney, obviously inking $10 million deal for 1 year with Cleveland Browns. They tried to add him last offseason, obviously. So they were successful, obviously, this time around. They did cut Sheldon Richardson in the corresponding move. Add somewhere and you decline somewhere. Clowney, a guy who, has had his struggles in the league. He's a guy who's highly regarded, former number one overall pick. Going to be playing alongside Myles Garrett. So, Mac, I'm going to ask you this question. What do you think of the move? And, I guess with the move, where do you have the Cleveland Browns now stacking up in the AFC? Does this really change your view on them in any way? What do you think?
Ask about the AFC thing. We've kind of felt the same way about them recently. They're up there as one of the top three teams easily. And you could argue that they're the best team in the AFC right now. I think it's really just between them and the Chiefs for that top spot. But you can really rank any of those top three teams, the Bills, the Chiefs, or the Browns in any order you want. But I think the Browns right now may be at the top of that. So you really see. You mentioned both of those moves they did. They added Jadeveon Clowney for $10 million, up to $10 million. And you released Sheldon Richardson, who I believe was $12 million. So you're basically getting Jadeveon for Sheldon Richardson. And in my opinion, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm not sure if you hear my brother yelling down there playing Fortnite, but
I do not.
I'm just not sure the payout. Jadeveon Clowney, he hasn't lived up to that first overall pick. Obviously, everyone expecting a great pass rusher, but you're not really seeing that from him last year. I believe it was 8 games. He didn't even have a sack. He's really more of a run stopper right now. So if that's what the Browns want to go for, that's what they are going to do. They're hoping that Myles Garrett can get to the quarterback, and you're hoping Jadeveon Clowney can stop the run. But Sheldon Richardson for Jadeveon Clowney, I'm not so sure how I feel about it. How Jadeveon Clowney's been playing. Sheldon Richardson has been playing absolutely greatly recently still, even though he's getting up there in age. But I guess this move will only be able to tell over time. But Jadeveon Clowney, a big signing for the Browns. And just to read off the defensive roster that the team has now: Myles Garrett, Malik Jackson, Jadeveon Clowney, Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams, Troy Hill, Ronnie Harrison, John Johnson, Grant Delpit. They're just names everywhere. And I'm looking at the safety spot. You have 3 guys who could start there easily: Ronnie Harrison, John Johnson, and Grant Delpit, this exciting rookie from last year who you're hoping could burst onto the scene this year after battling injuries. But really, the only spot I'm seeing a weakness in for this defense is the linebacker position. And I think at that 25th pick, I believe it is, you could draft a linebacker and you could fill that need immediately. And this could easily be one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Yeah, for Jadeveon Clowney, I think this is his make or break year in the NFL. He can say he obviously gets doubled a lot. That it's a stat. I know he's up there, in terms of the rate he's being doubled at. But he played against JJ Watt and couldn't register a double-digit sack season. So this is gonna be the year for him to really prove. He used the excuse of him being double teamed. So this is going to be the year. Obviously, Myles Garrett is going to be taking the most of that attention. You got other great players in the D-line, like you just mentioned, Malik Jackson, Takk McKinley, guys like that are on the D-line. So it's going to be a real test for Jadeveon Clowney. And I think for the Cleveland Browns, Sheldon Richardson is, a decent-sized loss. He was a good fit on that defense. Maybe they bring him back in a shorter deal. We don't know, obviously, but probably unlikely there. But Clowney's a good run stopper at the end of the day. They needed some sort of run help. I do feel that run defense was not the best at times last season. So this definitely helps. Like you said, that defense is they really addressed it. They didn't really add too much on the offense. They re-signed Rashard Higgins, but other than that, kept in tune, which was honestly they didn't really need to upgrade the offense in any spots. No spots on that offense are really glaring holes at this point. Their offense is really stacked, and obviously you'll probably add a little depth there through the draft. But in terms of that defense, you need to grab some guys. You grab Troy Hill, very good, slot corner. John Johnson, fantastic safety, regarded as one of the best in the league. One of the most underrated as well, too. Ronnie Harrison, Grant Delpit, those are great safeties there. So you're getting real guys, and you add Clowney, who has upside. There is upside there, but at the same time, we don't know what's going to happen. But I do think he'll produce a bit more than he has in the past few seasons. But we have seen when he is on the top of his game, he can be a force. I remember that Seattle Seahawks, when he was there, he was a presence on that D line for sure. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think that is kind of enough on the Browns. We don't spend too much time talking about Clowney. So with that, I guess I'll jump right in to start our mock draft 4.0. We'll just get this on the road. It's getting late here. So we'll hit it. Mock draft. Oh, that's the wrong one, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I didn't. No, I think this is the right one. I just didn't update the title page. So with that mock draft, let me make sure it's the right one. Oh, yeah, this is the good one. This is the good stuff. Don't worry. So mock draft 4.0 in the building. First pick, Jacksonville Jaguars. Not even going to go into it. It's Trevor Lawrence. We all know that. Same with the second pick. Everyone knows what's coming. It's Zach Wilson. So not going to break those down. Obviously, two great talents. Trevor, these guys are set in stone. But here is where the controversy enters. 49ers obviously trading up. They're going for a quarterback here. Mac Jones has been discussed at that third overall pick. Obviously, he is, highly regarded apparently by the 49ers, a guy who, pocket passer, lacks athleticism. I personally do not like him at this pick, and I'm sticking with my pick that I made in the last mock draft, which is Justin Fields. We saw him in his second pro day. Kyle Shanahan and company were there, and it just seems like right now there is maybe more of a trend towards Fields being at that pick. You just see the athleticism, you see the playmaking abilities, you see the accuracy, and his read thing, the whole one read thing, we've been over it. I'm not a huge, it's not really a huge issue, a huge flaw at all, in my opinion. So for me, Justin Fields, you got to take him this spot. You can't take Mac Jones with the third overall selection. I mean, that is just a colossal reach when you probably could have traded up, maybe to 8 or something like that and gotten him. I mean, there's no need to, trade up to 3 to get Mac Jones. This is a trade for Justin Fields, a guy who, if somehow he falls into the hands of like a Bill Belichick, my goodness, this guy is going to be a superstar. Fourth pick, first time I believe I might have the Falcons making this pick ever at pick 4. Obviously, the Sam Darnold trade to Carolina, which we covered last week, over with a good buddy, Gerard. So Carolina not in the business for a QB anymore, so no more trading up. I'm going to have the Falcons make this pick. And you see team needs here, but they're going to take arguably the best player on the board, one of the best in the class, if not the best, and that's Kyle Pitts. A superstar talent this guy has. I've had him all over in my mock drafts, but for me, I think it's just going to be trending that this kid has to go top 5. He's just that talented. He's a perennial talent. And for a Falcons team that, might not be ready to move on from Matt Ryan, I don't know if they go for a quarterback quite this high. I think Kyle Pitts is just the right move right here. You can't go wrong with this kind of pick. And, you get your future tight end superstar to pair with, Hayden Hurst, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones. That's a fantastic offense right there. So Atlanta Falcons, Kyle Pitts. Cincinnati Bengals. This is another kind of controversial one. Hearing in the news that, they're targeting Jamar Chase with this pick. Obviously, that's what quarterback Joe Burrow's been pitching for, but I'm still going with Penei Sewell. I think you got to take him here. I just do not like Jamar Chase. They may go Jamar Chase, but at the end of the day, to me, you got to take Penei Sewell, one of the top tackles we've seen in the past few years. And when you have that weak of an offensive line with really not too much talent, I mean, I know you brought in Riley Reef on like a 1-year deal, but come on now, Riley Reef is not going to do much. Jamar Chase is a great talent, but wide receivers, you can find those guys in the second, third, fourth round. You cannot find Penei Sewell in the second, third, or fourth round. And we've seen these guys, these wide receivers taken in the top 10. Not saying that these guys per se, like Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, are all going to be busts, but there's going to be 1 or 2 in that group that probably isn't as advertised. I mean, we look at some of those, esteemed wide receiver classes that go that high. You see the John Ross, the Michael Williams, Corey Davis class. I mean, those guys have panned out, but they haven't been stars. And, I think Penei Sewell is going to be one of the best tackles in the league, has that potential. Jamar Chase, obviously a fantastic wideout, but not going to spend too much more time on this. Penei Sewell, for me, I think you just got to take him if you're the Bengals. Miami Dolphins, I'm sticking with my pick that I made last time in Devonta Smith. We know they're going receiver here most likely. And to me, this is the right decision. I know people will say Jamar Chase is the better talent. I agree personally. But to me, I think Tua Tagovailoa, they've clearly committed to him at the quarterback position. They're not going to take one at 3. They obviously moved back. So for me, Devonta Smith, a great talent at wide receiver, has some chem with Tua Tagovailoa already built in. And you've already got guys like Will Fuller on that team. Devonta Smith could be a sneaky deep threat option on that team. I just like the fit, to be 100% honest. And I don't know. I just see it happen. Detroit, Same thing as last time as well here. Jamar Chase, this is where he's going to go. He's a superstar at the end of the day. Whether he goes to the Bengals, whether he goes to the Dolphins, this guy's going to be a star. And, I'm excited for what's next for him. I think Detroit Lions obviously in need of a wide receiver. So this is going to be a great pickup for them. He's going to be a guy they can build their team around with obviously some younger guys in the defense, like a Jeff Okuda per se. We'll see what happens. But Jamar Chase, I like this move a lot for the Lions. I got the Denver Broncos moving up one spot here with the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, in my eyes, they need a quarterback, and I think the pick here is Trey Lance. I looks like I still have a picture. I think that's Jalen Waddle in the back there. But Trey Lance is the pick here. I think the Broncos are done with Drew Lock. From what I've heard, it just seems like it's been a disaster. He hasn't played too well. He hasn't fared well. It's time to reset. And I think here, Carolina, and in my draft, I have them, looking to move out of this spot. And I think this is the perfect spot for them. They can move back one spot to take the guy that I think they really want and that, they're going to end up taking, but they'll get a lot. Obviously, teams like Washington will be in on this pick. But for me, Carolina, if you move back that far, you're really taking yourself out of this premium crop of talent that's still there. So for me, you move back one spot, you get more draft capital to replace what you got and gave away for Sam Darnold, and you get Trey Lance to the Denver Broncos. Good move for the Broncos and a chance to pair him with wide receivers like Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. I'm all in for that. Obviously, the Panthers moved back one spot with that trade. And they lost Curtis Samuel, so why not and go out and get Jalen Waddle? This guy is a playmaker. He can do things on special teams, on offense, obviously. And I think he's just the perfect guy to replace Curtis Samuel. Bit of a speedy guy, can go downfield. And giving Sam Darnold these weapons, to me, he's just the perfect guy. You could look at some of the other guys in this class, maybe take a tackle, but I don't know. I think Waddle is the pick. And that's why, for me, I don't think they want to trade out of the spot. I think they want to land a guy like a Jalen Waddle. I think that's just so essential for this offense and just another young talent. So you don't feel as much pressure to lock up like a DJ Moore per se. You got that young kid on his rookie contract. Number 10, your Dallas Cowboys. I've had the Dallas Cowboys picking a lot of different guys, but this week I'm going back to what I believe my first option was for them. They need help in that secondary, and they're going to take the best guy available, Patrick Surtain. Just the right move for them. They need to go defense, and I think if Kyle Pitts falls to them, it's going to be a whole chaotic issue because they're going to take Kyle Pitts. If he is on the board at 10, we already know that. But I don't think he's going to fall there. So Jerry Jones going to get to make the right decision for the football team and for what the Dallas Cowboys need in order to seriously contend. And that's Patrick Surtain. You add this guy to that secondary who, you brought in some talented guys this offseason. You got, some of those Falcons guys like Keanu Neal who brought in. You obviously have Trevon Diggs already there. So we'll see what happens. But Patrick Surtain, going to be the star of that secondary for sure, especially with the loss of guys like Jadeveon Clowney and whatnot. This team needs a guy like a Patrick Surtain at this pick. So, yeah, that's what I got there. New York Giants at 11. I'm sticking with this pick. I think the receivers are going to be gone by this point, and they already got Kenny Galladay. So they're going to go Rashawn Slater, a fantastic tackle who can really play anywhere on the O-line. This kid does it all from Northwestern. And he's a big beast. We saw him lock up Chase Young, who he'll see again in this division. So it'll be exciting to see what happens with Rashawn. And I just think it's a good fit. You do have Andrew Thomas, you pair Rashawn Slater on the other side. That's a fantastic young tackle core with lots of potential. And I can tell you for certain that the New York Giants will not be crying with these guys protecting Daniel Jones. So let's pick. I have the New England Patriots trading up here. I think Philly, we've been rumoring to hear them want to trade in the top 10. I didn't find the right spot for them to do so. New England trades up here. I think everyone knows where this is going. It's Mac Jones, guy who kind of embodies Tom Brady. I think Bill Belichick wants to land one of these quarterbacks, and I think he will here. I think he'll trade up, and he'll go up and grab Mac Jones. Obviously, we've spoken about him a lot in the past. Getting a little late, so I'm going to try and wrap this one up kind of quick. Chargers, sticking with the same idea as last time, and I just realized I forgot a player in my mock draft. Kwity Paye is not going to be in this mock draft, unfortunately. I forgot to put him back in, so Kwity Paye is going to be missing the top 30. Micah Parsons sticking with it. They need help at linebacker, and he is. Kwity Paye is dropping in the second round in my mock draft. What is going on? Jake Paul's doing some weird stretching right now. I don't know what the hell's going on, but the problem child's warming up, and I got to get this on the road. So Micah Parsons, linebacker, they need help there. Bang. Minnesota Vikings need help on that O-line. They'll go with Christian Darrisaw on the tackle. Riley Reif, they just lost, so obviously this will be a huge help. And protecting Kirk Cousins and seeing if that team can get themselves back in the playoffs after somewhat disappointing last season. Philadelphia moves back here. Obviously, kind of in a weird spot here. They're not going to get one of those receivers. They're not going to get a superstar per se. So They do need help in that secondary. So I'm going to have him take J.C. Horn, guy who's gotten a lot of attention recently from his pro days and whatnot. So J.C. Horn, star corner out of South Carolina. Good pick here for the Eagles. And, pair him with Darius Slant's a pretty good secondary, a pretty good cornerback core there at least. So, you're in a rough spot here if you don't land one of those receivers. And I think they won't. So J.C. Horn and the Eagles. Cardinals, same thing as last time. Caleb Farley, a kid who might drop a little bit just because of that issue in terms of having that injury, I believe to his back or something, shoulder, something like that. He's got an injury. He's going to drop a little bit. Arizona, though, scoops him up. Going to pair him in that secondary with some already pretty talented guys, I believe. Pat Pete is a Minnesota Viking now, but Byron Murphy Jr. might still be on the team. I don't really know who's in that secondary. To be honest, we're moving along. Las Vegas Raiders, they need help with the guard. They're going to take the Trojan himself, Big Daddy Alijah Tucker, number 75 himself. Look at that knee brace. I mean, he is built for Vegas. He's going to be hitting the casino with his big payday, and he's going to be losing it all, and he's going to be needing to play some good guard to make that up. Next, Miami Dolphins, sticking with the homegrown boy. Honestly, this pick should be Kwity Paye, but it'll be Greg Rousseau since Kwity Paye is left out of the draft. But Greg Rousseau, really, Kwity Paye, I apologize. So not a fully complete mock draft. Some dude's getting knocked out as we speak. Greg Rousseau, though, to Miami. Washington, team that's stuck back here. I had them taking Azeez Ojulari. I believe I also didn't put him in this time. So I'm just missing a bunch of guys here today, but we're having fun with it. I'm going to have them take Tevin Jenkins. They need help with that left tackle. Since Trent Williams left, it's really been a position of weakness for them. So Tevin Jenkins, one of the more underrated tackles in my mind from Oklahoma State. Maybe you protect Cade Cunningham. Maybe their boys, Cade Cunningham, presumed number one pick. Obviously saw him in March Madness, which we had our coverage on OTA clips that, ended once we got lazy with it. But besides the point, Tevin Jenkins, the Oklahoma State, don't know the mascot, but he's going to Washington. Chicago Bears, last time I had them taking J.C. Horn. Obviously, they're not going to be doing that this time. I'm bringing in a new guy to the mock draft, Trevon Moehrig. Didn't have him in there last time. A guy who a lot of teams have mocked to Jacksonville, but I think with those three corners going early, Bears need help in the secondary. Pair Trevon Moehrig opposite Eddie Jackson. That is destined for success. A kid who very good at TCU, regarded very highly. Probably a for sure first round pick. So like the move. And then here we have the final round. A lot of these picks are similar, but I do have Indiana going with Dylan Radams, the tackle out of North Dakota State. Tennessee going to go with Kadarius Toney, a really talented receiver out of Florida. Jets, Najee Harris. I think it's the move. He's such a talented back. They need big help. Tevin Coleman, obviously not the answer. Pittsburgh goes O tackle. Jalen Mayfield, hopefully trying to repair that O line. Maybe they can snag a running back, one of those running backs from North Carolina State in the second or third round, something like that, because they need help there as well. Jacksonville going to go linebacker. They'll take Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah out of Notre Dame. Cleveland goes Christian Barmore here. They lose Sheldon Richardson. They do need help on the linebacker core, and I think they might address it here, but I do like the idea of Christian Barmore here. Very talented tackle out of Alabama, guy who is going to have success at the next level. So, I like the pick there. Rashad Bateman, Baltimore needs receiver help. Obviously, went out and signed Sammy Watkins, but the receiving core still sucks. New Orleans keeps Terrace Marshall in the state, giving Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill some help. Green Bay goes Greg Newsome, the cornerback out of Northwestern. Kevin King after that disaster. It never seems like Green Bay could definitely use a corner. Greg Newsome going to help solve there. Buffalo goes DN Jalen Phillips. They could use some help in that D line. It's not the best spot. They've got a little aging there compared to that secondary with Jordan Poyer, Trey White, and whatnot. Casey, Alex Leatherwood, they need help at the tackle position. Look at the kid from Alabama who's been there, protected NFL talent, been with NFL talent. That's what the Chiefs want. They want some kid who's ready, NFL ready now, who's playing big games. Alex Leatherwood's that guy. Tampa Bay, Jason Owa, just added that front seven kid out of Penn State, highly regarded. Might be thinking on draft night. He might not be getting that call. He'll get the call end of the first round. Get excited for Jason Owa. And that is a speed run of my mock draft right there. Mock draft 4.0. Rip Kwity Paye, though, he did not get in the draft, unfortunately.
Time to speed run my mock draft 4.0 so our boy Griffin could go watch his Jake Paul fight.
I just want to go to bed, man, at this point. It's getting late. It's the morning at this point.
I'm low-key about to hop on COD, but Jacksonville Jaguars, no need to talk here. We all know is Trevor Lawrence. New York Jets all know Zach Wilson, quarterback out of BYU. Third pick, San Francisco 49ers. Before I get into this pick, I think this piece would really elevate them to the top of the NFC. A lot of people already have them as Super Bowl contenders with the fully healthy team this year. But if you add this guy, and if he's an immediate starter, I think this team could go far and could compete with the Packers, with the Bucks for the NFC. It's Justin Fields. And quickly before I go into the next pick, I just want to bring this up, and you could easily agree with me on this. The Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, and Trevor Lawrence quarterback talk, it really makes no sense. I've seen no reason for Zach Wilson to jump Justin Fields when just during the national championship, Justin Fields was in conversation to be better and to be potentially taken higher than Trevor Lawrence.
Looks like we both have Trey Lance to the Broncos.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just go right into this next pick. Denver Broncos from Atlanta. Of course, it's going to be Trey Lance, North Dakota State. You got to get a quarterback in here. Drew Lock. Everyone thought he was going to have this MVP season last year, but it clearly didn't end up like that. They're going to come in. Trey Lance, a guy who has so much potential. He is the modern quarterback today, and the Broncos will hopefully finally get that John Elway that they've been looking for who knows how long. The 5th overall pick, Cincinnati Bengals. Today, I if I'm being honest, I just switched 3 picks right before we hopped on this call because I was not home when the Jamar Chase talk was going on. All right,
Yeah.
this is who they want to take. I'm just going to go with that for now in this mock draft. You pair the 2 LSU brothers, Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase, and you also have T. Higgins, some other solid guys on that offense, and I think this will help massively in the development of Joe Burrow. You can't go wrong with Jamar Chase or Penei Sewell here. I do think Penei Sewell may be the smarter choice, but in this mock draft, I'm giving them Jamar Chase. And with the 6th overall pick, the Miami Dolphins are taking. Wait, who is this? What team was I going to give it? I forgot. But the Dolphins, this may be a little. This is something different. We're giving them Kyle Pitts.
Oh wow!
It's not a receiver. Your receiver got taken, but you need a guy that can come in and make plays offensively, catch the ball, catch some touchdowns for Tua, help develop him in this offense. And we're seeing what teams are starting to do. The Buccaneers, what's worked for them is those 2 tight end sets. You're gonna have Kyle Pitts and Mike Gesicki, and then you have Will Fuller, I believe it was, and Devontae Parker. Yeah. So you're going to have a lot of guys on this offense who could contribute and make plays, and offensively on the offensive line. I mean, you have guys who are young from last year's draft. I believe you have 3 guys who will potentially see some playing time this season on an offensive line from last year's draft who come in and hopefully will develop. So the run game should be improved. Pass game should be improved. And the Dolphins are going to be a great team next year once again. Number 7, Detroit Lions. They are selecting Jalen Waddle. I mean, I don't know how many times I've mocked this pick before, but it's obvious right now. You're getting the speedster, the potential Tyreek Hill, hopefully not a John Ross in this case. Adam and Phil Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones spots in this offense. So Jalen Waddle will be a Lion. The Carolina Panthers at 8. Quarterbacks that you would want are gone. The tackle who I think you would want is gone. And I think really
isn't Penei Sewell still there?
Oh, I'm stupid. That's the pick I was going to give him. The quarterback you would want is gone. Forget that second part. I guess it's just the midnight recording that's getting to me right now.
Midnight recording.
Penei Sewell's going to come up there and protect Sam Darnold. You got Christian McCaffrey, who was obviously hurt last year. You got to keep him healthy, keep him protected as well. Penei Sewell is going to come and contribute greatly in this offense, the development of Sam Darnold, and in protecting Christian McCaffrey and his health. The 9th overall pick, the Atlanta Falcons are selecting Patrick Surtain, the cornerback out of Alabama. I think this is a perfect fit for him. Him and AJ Terrell would be great and really sure up that secondary or the cornerback spot position for the Atlanta Falcons. And real quick, if I'm being honest, every year we see the mock drafts. The draft night comes, it's completely different than what everyone expects. And I think the Falcons could be a team, not at 9, but at 4, could surprise everyone and take Patrick Surtain. I know it sounds crazy right now, but draft night, we see crazy things happen, things that are unexpected.
Saw Denzel Ward go at 4. That reminds me of Denzel Ward at 4.
We see a bunch of crazy things, and I do think the Falcons would be a team that could surprise everyone by picking Patrick Surtain at 4. So we're going to have to see what happens on draft night, but that is a surprise pick I think could be made once that night comes. And at 10, my Dallas.
That 4th pick has history of being chaotic. I'll just throw on Cleveland Farrell as well was taking a 4.
Cleveland Farrell.
Oh, some dude just got KO'd by a body shot. He is done for the evening. Good night.
Good night. And hello to Rashawn Slater in a Dallas Cowboys uniform. The Cowboys, it should be a cornerback here. It could be Kyle Pitts here. But really, Rashawn Slater falls to, and I think he may be a pick you have to make. We've seen the downfall of this Cowboys offensive line, and once Tyron Smith is hurt, the offense crumbles. You can't get the run game going. You aren't protected. Terrence Steele is not going to cut it, and you have to get a guy who could come in. And if the O line is healthy, he could come in. He could play guard, and not if, but when Tyron Smith is hurt, because we all know it's going to happen every year now. It's what's bound to happen. He could kick out to left tackle and protect your quarterback, and Dak Prescott, who is coming off of that devastating injury. And with the 11th pick, the New York Giants, this is a surprise pick. We've been hearing all the things that they're loving these edge rushers. So I'm going to give them one. Not the one you may be thinking, but Aziz Ojulari.
Aziz at 11.
We're seeing Kwity Paye, Aziz Ojulari. These are names that are being mentioned at the 11th pick at edge for the Giants. For some reason, they're loving these edges. I don't know why, but I'm just going to stick with them. I'm going to give them a guy who
When they're both not even in my mock draft.
Oops. They're going 11th right now. They're making the top 15. What? What? But we had to spice it up a little bit. We had to spice it up.
We did. I like it.
Aziz Ojulari in a Giants uniform playing in New York. The Philadelphia Eagles at 12.
Oh, they get their man. Yeah.
Their man, who actually I would be glad if they make this pick because he has the high bust potential. But they picked Devonta Smith. He's either going to kill us in the NFC East or he's going to do absolutely nothing in the NFC East, and that's what I am loving about this pick. I don't know. I'm saying I'm loving if he has the potential to be good, but we'll just go with this. The 12 a.m. stuff hitting me, but the 13th overall pick, the Chargers are taking my favorite player in the draft in J.C. Horn, the cornerback out of South Carolina. This kid's a beast. I mean, I could go on for days about him. Maybe in the next mock draft, I'll go on when we have some more time. But J.C. Horn is an absolute monster. Chargers will be getting a stud from this kid from South Carolina. Minnesota Vikings are selecting Christian Darrisaw. You have to protect Kirk Cousins. You have to protect Dalvin Cook, who seems to be missing a few games, random games throughout the year. So I think Christian Darrisaw, you shore up this offensive line. You could hopefully get a full season out of Dalvin Cook. You could hopefully help Kirk Cousins buy some more time. You have Justin Jefferson, who's going to continue to develop. And I think this is an offense that's on the rise. If you fill up and fix that offensive line, you'll be in a great spot. I heard this thing up. New England Patriots selecting Mac Jones, the bum out of Alabama. The next Tom Brady. That's why this is a perfect fit for these Patriots. Next, the Arizona Cardinals will be selecting a different cornerback in Greg Newsome, the cornerback out of Northwestern, a guy who has progressed as the season went on. He had some great tape, great games, and I think Caleb Farley with that back surgery, he is going to fall. It's just a matter of how far. The teams not even consider him or not even have him on a draft board anymore. Who knows? But I think he's going to fall, and you're going to see where I have him going up in a little bit. But Greg Newsome, cornerback out of Northwestern, going to the Cardinals. The Las Vegas Raiders, I think, is a good fit for them. You get your linebacker, Micah Parsons. I would have had JOK going here, but Parsons fell. He's going to come make plays across the field, and I think that's what the Raiders need in this defense, a guy who will play and make plays at all levels of the field. And I also saw something on him. I don't remember where I saw it, but everyone's been saying he can't do much in pass coverage, and I mean, I'm also not high on this guy, but he ran the 4-4 40-yard dash, and I read something. I haven't watched much of them, but these guys are saying Penn State didn't ask him to go out and play coverage, but with this 4-4 speed, and everyone's questioning his coverage ability, will he be able to do it? I think that 4-4 speed will be able to cover him for that part. So I think he has a really high ceiling with the Raiders. And 18, the Miami Dolphins are going to be taking Kwity Paye, the edge out of Michigan. You got Christian Wilkins you drafted on the defensive line just the other year. You're going to pair him up with Kwity Paye, and you can wreak havoc on opposing offenses. The Washington football team, they're selecting my boy JOK, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. This guy, he may be short. He may end up being one of the smallest linebackers in the league that will be starting, but he's the guy that flies across the field, and you're just adding fire on a lit defense in Washington. 20th, Chicago Bears are taking Elijah Vera Tucker. You got to protect Andy Dalton now, so we're going to have to see how that goes. David Montgomery had some pretty good games at the end of last season. This will only help him develop and get better in this offense. And now my last, 12 picks. The Colts, they're taking Jalen Phillips, the edge out of Miami. Very high upside. Injury concerns is the only thing that's really putting him down this far in this mock draft. Tennessee Titans, Rashad Bateman. You lose Corey Davis. You're going to fill that up with another wide receiver. The Jets, Tevin Jenkins, the tackle out of Oklahoma State. You're pairing him with why am I blanking? Why am I blanking?
Becton, Mekhi Becton.
Mekhi Becton, and you're going to be able to protect Zach Wilson, your quarterback of the future. Hopefully that run game will improve a little bit just because of this pick, but I think Tevin Jenkins will be a great pick here for the Jets. The Steelers, they're going with this guy you reminded me of the last mock draft, Dylan Radens, offensive tackle out of North Dakota State. A lot of retirements, a lot of moves. The Steelers are depleted offensive line. You go out, you get your offensive tackle that'll hopefully be there for at least 10 years. Now the Jacksonville Jaguars. Last episode, I believe I said that Trayvon Mulrig would have been this pick almost every single time, but I'm going to spice it up. I'm going to give them Elijah Moore, add some weapons here for Trevor Lawrence, Cleveland Browns. As I said, they need some linebacker help. That's the only position where I really see them having a need on defense. You got Jamin Davis, the linebacker out of Kentucky, who has really flew up draft boards, especially after that electrifying pro day that he had. So it's just fire on fire once again for the Cleveland Browns. Offensively, defensively, no one's going to be able to stop the Browns this next year. The Ravens, they're taking Trayvon Mulrig, defense that is aging, but you still have a lot of stars. I think you have this guy. You have some other guys he could learn from, even at the cornerback position. He'll learn man. He'll learn anything you really need to in a flourishing defense with the Ravens. And I think he'll make some plays for the Ravens when you're going up against some of those firepower teams. Now with Baker Mayfield, you're going to have Patrick Mahomes, obviously, Josh Allen. So you're going to need a guy that can go up and pick that ball off and give it to your offense. And that's what the Ravens are going to be getting. The Saints are going to take Jadeveon Clowney, a linebacker out of Tulsa. I mean, this could be a wide receiver. This could be a lot of things, but I think Jadeveon Clowney will be a good fit for the Saints. The Packers, you really need that number 2 receiver, which you really haven't had for a long time now. You're going to have to pair this guy, Terrace Marshall Jr. up with Devontae Adams. You're going to make plays, and I think this is a pick that'll be made not just for right now, but for the help of oh my gosh, man, my 12 a.m. brain is not working. The quarterback they drafted last year, frick. Jordan Love, man, my brain really. That'll be a pick that'll help him develop. You're gonna have to get some help on the offensive line. I think once Jordan Love comes along and comes playing, I think he'll be in a great and bright spot to succeed in this offense. The Bills, you're gonna get a cornerback of the future that you pair up with Tre'Davious White, Asante Samuel Jr., quarterback out of Florida. I think many teams are going to like this because he had the dad that played in the NFL at such a high level. The Bills are taking him and have a lockdown quarterback duo with I was about to say Trayvon Diggs, Tre'Davious White, and Asante Samuel Jr. Kansas City Chiefs, you're taking Christian Barmore. The defensive line really needs to have some more firepower. You got Frank Clark, you got Chris Jones. You have players that could get it done, but they've been declining the past few years. They haven't been as good. Christian Barmore will be a guy that could still come in, take advantage of those guys, learn from them, and could be the successor on that defensive line for the Chiefs. Tampa Bay Buccaneers is where I have Caleb Farley going. You're seeing what they're saying. Most of these guys, whoever they draft, probably is not going to start this year. They're really looking for guys that could develop. I think this is a good pick and good spot for Caleb Farley. He could take some time to heal. He could heal up and he could still learn from that great coaching staff there with the Bucs, and I think this would be a great fit for him to heal and develop as a young cornerback.
I like it. I like the Caleb Farley fit. I think that's a good potential place for him. And yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So yeah, if you want to wrap this one up, getting late, and I know we both are tired, so you can wrap it up if you want.
Let's see if this
I like the mock drafts though.
Brain is working right now because it really who knows how long.
Get it over with.
But everyone, as always, we appreciate you all for watching this week's episode of Outside the Arena. We will be having someone new on very, very soon. You've seen him on this channel before, and we're going to make a big announcement once that does become official, when his first episode officially with Outside the Arena comes out. But that'll be something to look forward to in the future. A third member of Outside the Arena. Wow.
We signed Woj.
Wow.
We signed Woj.
Wow. It's surprising.
It's in the works.
It'll work. I'm excited.
Get it done. We'll see if we can put the pen to the paper.
Let's see. But as always, appreciate you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, not only on this channel, but on our second channel, OTA Clips. We post some March Madness content over there if you want to check that out. And we're going to be doing breaking news and all that kind of stuff over there. Maybe do some draft stuff. And once the draft is finally over, just recaps and things like that. But also make sure to follow us on our Instagrams. My Instagram is Mac.Rommel. Griffin's Instagram is
Griffin Senek.
our podcast Instagram is Outside the Arena Podcast. Please feel free to hit us up there if you just want to talk, or if you even want to come on an episode of OTA Clips. We would love that. But as always, stay safe. We will see you all next week.